Family, come close for a moment because today's message is for the ones who have lived long enough to look back and say, Lord, I didn't understand it then, but now I see you were in it the whole time. This is for the ones who survived seasons that didn't make sense, for the ones who walked through valleys they never asked for the ones who thought certain chapters were wasted only to discover later that God was writing something deeper than they realized. Today, we're declaring something powerful. God's fingerprint was on it, and nothing was wasted. Before we walk through this revelation, let's anchor ourselves in the Word because the Word confirms what your spirit already knows. Romans chapter 8, verse 28 in the King James Version declares, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. Not some things, not the pleasant things, not the understandable things, all things. Even the things you cried through, even the things you regretted, even the things you thought disqualified you. God said, I'm using that too. Let's walk through this together because when you start seeing your life through the lens of divine intentionality, you stop calling seasons wasted and start calling them woven. God has been weaving purpose into every thread of your story. Let's start with the part we rarely want to revisit, the pain. Because if we're honest, pain is the one place where we assume God was absent. But that's the place where his fingerprint is often the clearest. Number one, God's fingerprint was on the pain. Some of the things that hurt you the most shaped you the most. You didn't know it then, but God was strengthening your spiritual muscles. He was teaching you endurance. He was building compassion in you. He was sharpening your discernment. You thought you were breaking, but God said, no, I'm building. And the proof is simple. You didn't just survive it, you grew from it. Now let's shift to another area where God's hand is often misunderstood, the delay. Because delay feels like denial until God reveals what he was protecting you from. Number two, God's fingerprint was on the delay. You thought you were behind schedule. You thought you missed your moment. You thought God forgot about you. But the delay was divine. God wasn't punishing you, he was preparing you. He wasn't withholding, he was aligning. He wasn't ignoring you, he was orchestrating. Some doors didn't open because God knew what was behind them. Some relationships didn't work because God knew what was attached to them. Some opportunities didn't happen because God had something better. Nothing was wasted. Let's talk about the detours, the unexpected turns, the long routes, the seasons that didn't go according to your plan. Number three, God's fingerprint was on the detour. You didn't plan to go the long way. You didn't plan to take the scenic route. You didn't plan to walk through the wilderness. But God said, if I take you the short way, you won't be ready. If I take you the easy way, you won't be strong enough. If I take you the fast way, you won't appreciate the promise. So he took you the right way. And now you can look back and say, Lord, I see it. You were guiding me even when I didn't know where I was going. Now let's look at the people God allowed into your life. Because every person had purpose, even the ones who hurt you. Number 4, God's fingerprint was on the people. Some people were sent to bless you. Some were sent to teach you. Some were sent to stretch you. And some were sent to push you into purpose. But none of them were wasted. God used every conversation, every connection, every betrayal, every encouragement, every disappointment, every mentor, every critic, every friend, and every enemy to shape your destiny. Nothing was wasted. And now we arrive at the part that ties it all together, the outcome. Because when you step back and look at the full picture, you realize God was writing a masterpiece. Number 5, God's fingerprint was on the outcome. You didn't end up where you are by accident. You didn't become who you are by coincidence. You didn't survive what you survived by luck. God was writing a story the whole time. And the beauty of God's authorship is this: He never wastes ink. He never wastes chapters. He never wastes seasons. He never wastes tears. He never wastes experiences. Everything you've lived through is now part of your testimony, your ministry, your wisdom, your strength, and your calling. Let me paint a picture to help this truth settle deeper into your spirit. Illustration 1, the broken pieces. Imagine a potter working with clay. He does not throw the broken pieces away. He gathers them. He wets them. He presses them. He reshapes them. And what comes out of the process is stronger than what went in. That's what God did with you. Here's another image that captures the heart of this message. Illustration 2, the quilt. Think of a quilt made from scraps, pieces that look random, mismatched, and useless on their own. But in the hands of a skilled maker, those scraps become a masterpiece. Your life is God's quilt. Every scrap has purpose. Every piece has meaning. Every moment has value. Nothing was wasted. Family, hear me. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not the product of your pain. You are not the victim of your past. You are the evidence of God's intentionality. Everything you've lived through has been woven into a divine plan that is still unfolding. And the same God who brought you through that is the same God who is preparing you for this. Lift your head, strengthen your shoulders, walk in confidence, because God's fingerprint is on your life. And nothing, absolutely nothing, was wasted. Before we close, let's seal this truth in our hearts and speak directly to the God who has been faithful in every chapter. Father, thank you for being the God who wastes nothing. Thank you for taking every broken place, every painful moment, every confusing season, and turning it into purpose. Help us to see your hand, even when we don't understand your plan. Strengthen us to trust you in the process and you, praise you in the unfolding. And remind us daily that your fingerprint is on our lives and nothing you touch is ever wasted. In Jesus' name, amen. Family, if this word helped you see God's fingerprint on your story today, go ahead and like it. Share it with someone who needs the reminder and subscribe so you don't miss what will be unfolding next.